So I want to talk today about something that is really, really, really important. And what that is stress. We all have stress. And when it's easy for us if you're in LifeVantage and you've been doing this for a long time, we talk about oxidative stress. But stress, any type of stress, it is the root cause of all of our disease processes. We know that if we have mental stress, it's going to lead to oxidative stress. If we have physical stress, it's going to lead to tissue damage and lead to oxidative stress. So, how do we deal with this stress on a daily basis? And the stress is getting worse and worse and worse. If we look back, I always like to go back 50 years. If you were alive 50 years ago, go ahead and put a one in the chat box because I'm guessing half, maybe half are, half were not. But 50 years ago, things were different. We were eating differently. Most of our food was grown close to home. We had no cell phones, so we didn't have that stress. We didn't have social media trying to fit in with social media. We didn't have that stress. So stress is endless now, and all of those stressors lead to oxidative stress. Oxidative stress leads to aging, not just visual aging, fine lines, wrinkles, and things like that, but it leads to cellular aging, and that cellular aging causes disease. So instead of having exhaustive self-care routines, supplements, massages, um, meditation, going for a walk, whatever that is for you, whatever those self-care routines are for you, um, this is cell care. It's a way to take care of yourself. Go ahead and put in the chat box what your self-care routine is. What is the little things that you do in your life to make you feel better? I'm going to tell you about a friend of mine. I have a friend, and some of you may have heard of him. He's a sort of famous doctor. His name is Charles Runnels. He invented something called the vampire facial and vampire facelift. Charles' self-care routine is every morning he gets up, he gets into a sauna, he goes down to, or goes up to plus 180 degrees, and then he leaves his sauna and he goes into his cryo unit and goes down to minus 183. So he has a temperature change of 360 degrees, which I think is absolutely wild. And he does it each and every morning. And he believes that putting your body through that stress, that's part of his self-care. And probably in the long run, it's probably part of his cell care as well. So let's be super transparent. We absolutely have motive here tonight to talk to you guys because I want you to flip the paradigm idea of what is the root cause of nearly every major health problem in the world today. And we actually have a proven solution to deal with it. So before we get started, the company makes me do this. I could probably slide earlier, but since I was appointed to the scientific advisory board about 2 months ago, now I have to be even more compliant because people are watching me. So we're going to talk about money at the end. Lisa's going to jump on and talk about the financial side of LifeVantage, which can be significant, but it depends on how much you work. If you work at part-time, if you work at like a nighttime gig instead of delivering pizza or driving for Uber or Lyft or something like that, you can make part-time money. But if you want to work at full-time, you can make full-time money. And then I'm going to talk about the products. The products are not evaluated by the American FDA. They're not evaluated by your governmental agencies in the UK or in the European Union. They are not intended to cure, treat, prevent, or mitigate any diseases. These are considered supplements, but in LifeVantage, they're not supplements. They are what we refer to as activators, and I'll talk about that after this beautiful slide showing me and the rest of my scientific advisory board. We have people from all over the world. We have two doctors from Mexico. We have the beautiful Gail Pearson from New Zealand. We have some chiropractors from America. Mark is from Hawaii. So we're well represented worldwide. So if we talk about stress, stress is truly the silent epidemic. It is slowly killing us day by day and molecule by molecule. And we look at all these stressors. Big pharma is on there. Big farming is on there. What are they putting into the food that we eat? ultra high processed foods, air pollution, um, spraying our crops, all the electrical interference that we're getting, EMF waves and cell phones. My wife gets mad at me. I just heard her come in. I just heard our garage door open. So she just came in. I told her I was in a meeting, so she's not going to open the door behind me, but she will get like fuming mad at me because we'll be in public somewhere and I will see a lady and I'll pick up my cell phone and I'll see a lady and her cell phone is stuck in her bra. So now what is she doing? She is getting EMF waves transmitted into her breast tissue. And there's studies out there that show that it increases your risk of breast cancer. And I'll tell women that I don't even know, hey, you really should take that out of there, put it in your pocket because you're increasing your risk for breast cancer. And I'm sure there are people out there that love you and they don't want to see you do this. She says I'm going to get shot someday. But this just goes to prove on what happens to us, all the things that are attacking us, some things that we don't even know about. I look at this picture over here of the heavy-set kid eating some type of fast food. It looks like it might be McDonald's. Not to call McDonald's out, but they're killing them. They're killing people worldwide day by day. But I went into a business networking meeting and there was a 7-year-old kid sitting in the front row with his mom. Obviously, she couldn't get a babysitter that morning. And it was 7 o'clock in the morning and she had a 16-ounce soda, an energy drink. He had a 16-ounce soda, an energy drink, and 2 donuts. And he was probably 9 years old. And my thought is you are killing your kid already at 9 years old and you don't know better. And that's the biggest problem. So you can see I'm very loud and these things really truly bother me. So why are you here tonight? What are your stresses? Go ahead and put a number 3 in the chat box if you have stress in your life. And tell me what that stress is. What is your biggest stress? Is it internet stress like the girl down in the lower left-hand corner? Maybe it's financial stress or career stress. Maybe you're going to want to listen more to Lisa at the end of this than you are to me because maybe you're living paycheck to paycheck. In America, 57% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. What does it mean to live paycheck to paycheck? This is the other side of the story that people don't realize. If you live paycheck to paycheck, you're in a one-income house, which really doesn't exist anymore. Almost everyone, mom and dad, are both outside the house. Kids are coming home to empty houses after school. But if you live in a one-income house and you're living paycheck to paycheck, it means that if you lose your job, you're 90 days from bankruptcy. That's a stress. Maybe it's social media. Maybe it's keeping up with the people on your social media. Maybe it's your health or diet. Maybe you're eating mostly ultra high processed foods. In America, 68% of what we put into our bodies is ultra high processed food. It's killing us every day. Maybe it's technology. Maybe you have your cell phone in your pocket and you think you feel it vibrate, but it's a phantom vibration because you're so used to it. Another part of stress. You got to pull it out and look at it to see, and you realize, oh, I didn't miss anything. I didn't really miss a call. But what does that do to you? What does that do to your mind? So these are some statistics. Some of these are mine. Some of these are things that Lisa put on here talking about the UK. 33% of people feel like they have extreme stress. 77% that say that stress is impacting their health, with 73% saying it's affecting their mental well-being. 43% of adults have adverse health effects from stress. Up to 90% of all doctor's visits are driven by stress-related problems. 90%. So Lisa asked in the beginning, why are doctors jumping into this? The question is why aren't doctors jumping into this? Because those that are in LifeVantage are in the far minority of doctors in the world. More doctors should be jumping into this. The problem is doctors don't understand root cause. Doctors don't understand what's causing disease. They think you have a problem, I'll write you a prescription. You have high blood pressure, I'll give you high blood pressure medicine. You have depression, I'll give you an antidepressant. They don't think what's causing this? What is the underlying cause? Well, if they understood that, 220 diseases are caused by oxidative stress. So if you can control oxidative stress, and we actually have the best product in the world to control oxidative stress, you can solve these problems beforehand. We recently lost a great Brit, somebody that I have followed most of my life, Ozzy Osbourne. And Ozzy died, I don't know, what is it, 2 to 3 months ago from Parkinson's disease. I think he knew he was dying. I have two theories that I won't go into, but well, maybe I'll go into it really quick. I have two theories. He either knew he was dying or he had his final concert and decided he was tired of living that way and he had assisted suicide. But it's weird that he had his final concert and within 2 weeks he was dead. There's more to that story. But anyways, Parkinson's disease is almost 100% caused by oxidative stress. So think about that. If he controlled his oxidative stress, maybe didn't do as many drugs back 50 or 60 years ago, maybe he'd still be with us. Globally, 31% of adults say that stress is the biggest health problem in their country. Anxiety disorders affect 284 million people worldwide. In the UK alone, 79% of workers say they have work-related stress, and 65% are describing work as a significant stress source. Think about all those numbers. And when you think about those numbers, look at some of these statistics. 2/5 or 41% of UK adults say they feel tired. 2/3 are affected by money problems. 34% are stressed out by family problems. 30% find that work in general makes them feel stressed. 25% say their workload demands are causing them stress. Stress, stress, and stress. I hope that you're not stressed for being here listening to me tonight. That would be counterproductive. So stress isn't just a feeling, it is becoming a public health emergency. Problem is doctors don't understand it. Doctors don't understand why more and more people are coming into their office depressed. Their solution, give you an antidepressant, maybe get you into some counseling. Not, let's deal with the problem from root cause. Let's pull away from social media. Let's pull away from our cell phones. Let's balance our work and home lives. Stress is killing our energy, it's killing our time, and in the long term, it's killing us. I think this is a good time to talk about what life should be. If we go back even farther, let's go back 100 years. I know nobody on this call was alive then. This is what life was like. You're born, you matured through your teen years into your 20s, and then from your 20s to your 70s, you lived out your life. That's your longevity. That's your lifespan. And 100 years ago, your lifespan and your health span were almost the same because you would live, you'd mature, and you'd stay healthy until your 60s, 70s, and 80s. And then maybe some disease process would sneak in and you would die. Not anymore. Now, what happens is you're born, you mature, you get into your 20s, and you live healthy maybe to your 40s, 50s if you're lucky, and then you start getting disease processes. Heart disease sneaks in, diabetes sneaks in, maybe some neurodegenerative disease sneaks in. Maybe you start getting some early dementia. But now your health span is over, but your lifespan may continue another 20 or 30 years unhealthy. Health span and lifespan are mismatched. That's the problem with stress. That's the problem with oxidative stress. 100 years ago, we didn't have that. 50 years ago, we really didn't have that. If we look back 50 years ago, obesity in the United States was 10%. It's 42% now. Autism did not really exist. It was 1 in 10,000. It's now 1 in 31. Pediatric cancer rate was 0.2%. Now it's 1.7%. Early menopause didn't exist. Testosterone deficiency in men didn't exist. 50 years ago. So what's changed in the last 50 years? One word. You can go ahead and put in the chat box if you want, but it's one word, it's stress. Whether it's oxidative stress from ultra high processed foods because our diet started changing, whether it's stress from work, whether it's stress social media started picking up in the early 2000s, cell phones in the 1990s, all of these things are leading to the reason that we are getting sick and not having a long health span. So when stress becomes chronic, it starts attacking every part of our life at a cellular level. So this produces something that we refer to as oxidative stress. If you've been in LifeVantage more than a minute, you know what oxidative stress is. It's causing our cells to age faster. It's causing our cells to age and then die off early. When they die off early or they mutate and then die off, that causes disease. What diseases am I talking about? I'm talking about everything. I'm talking about heart disease. I'm talking about diabetes. I'm talking about neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. I'm talking about cancers. I'm talking about depression. All of these are linked to oxidative stress. Autoimmune diseases, MS, ulcerative colitis, thyroid disease, a lot of the diseases that attack our hormones, premature menopause, all of these things are related to oxidative stress, and we can control it. Oxidative stress isn't just a buzzword. It's scientifically recognized for over 200 degenerative diseases. It's actually about 226 that if you look in PubMed, you can relate to oxidative stress. And it's everywhere. It's in our brains, it's in our hearts, in our kidneys, in our skin. Looking older than you actually are, that aging, oxidative stress. Our immune systems, it's why we get sicker more often, in our blood vessels, in our heart, in our lungs. All of this related to oxidative stress. If we go to PubMed and we put in the search engine in PubMed, PubMed is United States National Library of Medicine. You guys can get on it in the UK and in the European Union as well. Go to the website pubmed.org and you'll get the search engine and you put oxidative stress in the search engine. This is what comes up. It shows that there are over 374,000 results. So almost 375,000 results. Oxidative stress leading to disease. Now, probably should have put this slide in earlier before I get completely geeked out on what I've discovered, because you can see I'm already geeked out by all this. I'm really a science nerd. Here's the biggest issue is traditional methods to reduce stress are what? And we talked about it. It's whatever your self-care routine is. I love a good massage. Here's the problem. If I lay down for a massage 10 or 15 minutes in, I'm asleep. I relax and fall asleep. But maybe it's a walk. My wife walks every single day. I try to walk every day. It's hard, but now that I've had my weight loss issues, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, I try to walk more. I'm trying to get into better shape. But what is your self-care routine? Is it a walk? Is it meditation? Is it massage, pedicure, manicure for the ladies out there? And I guess some men, my wife keeps telling me that pedicures are amazing and I should go. I'm not seeing it. But whatever it is, maybe it's a facial, maybe, whatever you think that maybe it's a vacation. My wife and I love the beach, going on the beach, even if we don't get in the water, sitting there under our little tent, maybe a cold adult beverage in our hand, watching the water. That's self-care. But those things are just band-aids to this long-term health problem. And that long-term health problem is cellular degeneration. So what we need is cell care. We need to flip the switch. And that's what I'm asking you. Paradigm shift. If you're not already taking this, I tell people, Richard Picard said I should trademark this phrase that Protandim needs to be in our water supply. Shouldn't even have to worry about it. The government should put it in the water. We should drink it every day in our water, and then we wouldn't have to worry about it. But it's not just about self-care. It is truly about cell care. So how did we get here? That's the LifeVantage headquarters in outside of Salt Lake City, Utah. And our story is different. LifeVantage was founded under the guise to make money wasn't founded under the guise of making money in the wellness space. It was founded to have a product, and this product was 20 years ago, 2005, to find a product that could help with cell care, that was an antioxidant that could stop this cellular degeneration by increasing antioxidants in our body by up to 300%. If we're looking at glutathione, it's become it's become a $200 million company with over $2 billion in sales since it was founded in 2005. And this is how it was founded. It was founded with an ABC News primetime investigative report. And here's what most people don't understand. Dr. Joe McCord is an award-winning scientist, and he discovered a substance called SOD, or superoxide dismutase. And he discovered it in the late 1960s, and he devoted his entire career in Colorado in looking at anti-aging. And LifeVantage found out about this, and they wanted him to design a product that could raise superoxide dismutase levels. And ABC News Primetime got a hold of this, and they said, this is baloney. This doesn't work. It's snake oil, and we are going to prove them wrong in public on TV. And so one of the reporters, John Quiones, started taking LifeVantage Protandim Nrf2. And he went and saw Dr. McCord, and then he went and saw his own doctors. And lo and behold, his degree of oxidative stress in his body, what are called T-bars, went down. He started feeling better. He thought he started looking better. And what happened? It went from a hit piece to prove it wrong to being a very promising piece, saying that maybe we did stumble on the fountain of youth. Millions of dollars of orders came in overnight after this was aired. And this was the start of the little yellow pill. But here's the problem. The problem is there was one story. There was John Quiones' story one night on the ABC News Primetime Special Report. If you didn't see it, you didn't know about it. And so it's not FOMO. It's not the fear of missing out. You just missed it. You're not going to find it. No YouTube. You can't Google it. You can't find it. So there wasn't a story. So from 2005 to 2009, there were some sales, maybe $1 million a year, but not enough to really survive as a business. 2009, they got an idea. We need stories. We need Lisa's stories. We need Brett's stories. We need Jillian's stories. They need Dr. Jeff's stories. So they went to direct sales network marketing. Now everyone had a story. People had stories about Dr. Jeff's 100-pound weight loss, how well Lisa feels on the Protandim Nrf2, how she's using it in her horses. We have all the stories now about the little yellow pill, and that's when it really took off. So what is this little yellow pill? It's 5 herbs combined in the right order. Can't just take the 5. You can't go buy the 5 herbs separately, take a fistful, 5 different pills, 10 different pills, pop them in your mouth, because they're not going to work. They have to be in the right synergistic combination. 7 US patents, 10 plus international patents, 30 peer-reviewed studies in major journals. It was looked at by Harvard. It was looked at by Duke. It was looked at by Ohio State. All these articles published on PubMed. And what did it prove? It proved that it could lower oxidative stress by increasing superoxide dismutase by 40% in 30 days and up to 70% in 90 days. It was able to activate or turn on 600 genetic survival genes, turn on these genetic pathways to help our tissue and our cells survive longer and protect the DNA in our cells. Remember, if DNA mutates, that mutation can lead to cancers. It can lead to heart disease. It can lead to neurodegenerative diseases. That's why these products work. This is one of the major studies that came out that really showed that Nrf2 has become the most extraordinary therapeutic preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. This is in a published journal that they're talking this high. So my question is, there's 23 people on the call. We lost a few. I usually don't lose people on the call that early, but I guess we lost some. But 23 people on the call. Are any of you not taking Protandim Nrf2? And if you're not, why are you not taking it? So this is our entire product line. We have stuff for joint health, for skin, for mitochondrial function. We have GLP-1 weight loss product. We have products for our fuzzy friends. We have gut health products. Now, some of these are our supplements. We talk about our AM/PM vitamins, our vitamin D, our eye health product, IC Bright. Those are all supplements. So what is a supplement? Supplement is there's a deficiency in your body. You go to your doctor, he draws blood, and he comes back and he says, Lisa, your vitamin D level is low. He gives you a supplement of vitamin D. It increases your vitamin D level. That's not what these little blue bottles are, or this mind body core, mind body enhance, or the liquid collagen. Those are activators. So these are little products. There's no GLP-1 in the mind body GLP-1, but it's a combination of products, food-based products, plant-based products that will help your body raise its GLP-1 levels by activating the genetic pathways. That's the difference between an activator and a supplement. Our main products, our big products, are activators. So let's look at these activators. So 2005, I already talked about Protandim Nrf2. Came out in 2005. We went direct sales network marketing in 2009. 11 years later, so for the first part of LifeVantage, we were Protandim Nrf2. We were the little yellow pill company. Nrf1 in 2016, mitochondrial support and cellular energy, giving your cells more energy. What's called ATP, which is the intercellular energy, which keeps our cells making more power for our bodies. 2019, NAD. I know it's not available in Europe yet. Hopefully it'll get there. We're having problems actually with it in the United States. I'm not sure how long actual bottles of NAD, which you can buy NAD supplements in the US, are going to be around, because one of the big pharma companies is actually trying to make NAD as a drug. When that happens, then there's going to be a big battle. But ours doesn't have any NAD in it. It's an activator, so it'll probably stay around. Hopefully, we can get that into the UK and the EU. Liquid collagen 2023, a way to increase collagen production, increase type 1 collagen by 100% in 8 weeks. Now, I'll be honest with you. When I first joined LifeVantage, which was July of last year, I saw liquid collagen. Lindy actually brought me a bottle the first day. I put it in the refrigerator. Next day I took it. Tasted good. But I thought, collagen supplement. It's going to be like all the stuff that my patients have taken for years to help with their joint pain. I looked at it as maybe a beauty supplement. It's going to help me look prettier. I'm going to get rid of the wrinkles around my eyes, maybe the wrinkles on my forehead. My wife takes it for that reason. Here's what I noticed. 2 months after taking it, my knee pain went away. Well, articular cartilage, the cartilage that lines your bones, is almost all type 1 collagen. So if you can increase type 1 collagen by 100% in 8 weeks, it's a joint pain activator, not just a beauty activator. So don't think just beauty when you see that pink and brown bottle. And then 2025, the reason I joined LifeVantage, Mind Body GLP-1. The GLP-1 activator, increasing GLP-1 levels in our body by 200% in 12 weeks. So let's look at combinations. So we talked about the world leader in activated cell care. Nrf2 reduces oxidative stress 70% in 90 days. Maybe you want to go farther. Maybe you want to do dual synergizer. In the US, we have tri-synergizer, Nrf1, Nrf2, NAD. Over in the UK, we have dual synergizer, Nrf2, Nrf1, oxidative stress, mitochondrial support. Then we go to what we call the healthy glow stack. Maybe that's more for arthritis and more for beauty. Think gut, joints, hair, peptides, skin, Protandim Nrf2, liquid collagen. Maybe that's the combination you're looking for. Or maybe it's the combination of what we call the healthy weight stack. This is the one that I was excited about. Nrf2 and Mind Body. Nrf2 helps with all the hormones that are responsible for metabolism. Thyroid, testosterone, estrogen, human growth hormone, GLP-1, all the things that are responsible for metabolism. Because as we eat a diet with ultra high processed foods, they start attacking our endocrine system, and they downregulate all these hormones. And that's where the weight starts happening. So the combination is stabilize the hormones with Nrf2, start the mind body GLP-1 to help with the food noise, with the cravings. if you've heard me talk before, and I know I have a lot of new people on here, I had an addiction. Wasn't alcohol, wasn't cigarettes, wasn't heroin or cocaine. It was Oreos. I had an Oreo addiction. I admit it. First thing is admit your problems. I had an Oreo addiction. I would walk past the pantry in my house and the Oreos would call out my name. Dr. Jeff, we're in here. Come have an Oreo. And I would about 8 times a day. 2 with breakfast, 2 with lunch, 2 as a mid-afternoon snack, 2 after dinner with a cup of coffee, sometimes a cup of tea. I had an Oreo problem. And we always had Oreos in the house. And this is why Oreos have no dairy. And my son has a dairy allergy. So Jennifer was buying Oreos every week because Brian was eating them because of his dairy allergy. Brian doesn't like Oreos. We didn't tell Jennifer because I wanted my Oreo supply every single day. And my weight started getting higher and higher and higher. My highest weight, over 380 pounds. My weight when I started the Mind Body GLP-1 last October, 318 pounds. My weight yesterday, 218 pounds. I hit my 100-pound weight goal in 49 weeks with the combination of Protandim Nrf2 and Mind Body GLP-1. So why take these products? Less pain, more energy, more motivation, glowing skin. Might be important for some of you, not for a 63-year-old ex-football player. Weight loss, definitely. Improved libido for all of us. Improved sleep, stronger immunity, improved gut health, less inflammation. What else do you want to add on to that list? We all suffer from this. I'm sure that there's not anyone on this call that does not have at least one of these things on that list. So these are all big problems. These are all cellular health issues. And we have products that can manage these, either alone or in combination. We have a combination of products that can help solve all of these. Maybe it's gut health. Maybe it's you need the Nrf2 and our probiotic and prebiotic. Maybe it's immunity. You need probiotic, prebiotic, Nrf2, and our AM/PM vitamins. There's a combination. And if there's something that's bugging you and you're not sure, which one should I take? Feel free to reach out to me. Lisa has my contact information. She will help you get involved with that. So this is the health epidemic. This is what is plaguing the world. These are the 220 diseases that we can reduce our risk of. But there's another problem. And that problem is financial, our financial issues. And those financial issues are that 57% of Americans, and I bet the numbers are the same in the UK and in the EU, are living paycheck to paycheck. It means that we now have financial stress, we have work stress, we have family stress. We might not know where the next meal is coming in. I work with a nonprofit, and this will be the last thing, and I'll hand this over to Lisa. I'm going to plug one of the nonprofits I work with. We work with a nonprofit here in Florida called the Rock Program. And the Rock Program, they put a room in every school. They put it in our middle schools, which is 6th through 8th grade, and they put them in our high schools, which are 9 through 12 grades. And the Rock Room has food, clothing, all donated through the community, feminine hygiene products, soap, shampoos, other hygiene products. And kids that maybe aren't getting these things at home can stop in there at their lunch break, fill up a bag for free, put it in their locker, and take it home at the end of the day. We have kids that will come on Friday, fill up a bag of food so their family can eat over the weekend. Otherwise, the next meal they may get is Monday morning at breakfast at school. So that's one of the programs I donate my time to. And just a shameless plug, we just had a big fundraiser last week for 33 hours on Wednesday and Thursday. And we were able, through our community, to bring in almost $460,000 for our program. So that's going to feed kids. It's going to clothe kids. It's going to give them new tennis shoes. It's going to give women, the girls in those schools, feminine hygiene products. Maybe it's going to give them a dress. They can go in and get a prom dress that was used, somebody donated, but they'll get to go to their prom. So that's one of the areas of my love that I do with LifeVantage and in our community. So at this point, because of this 57% they're living paycheck to paycheck, you can make some money with LifeVantage. So maybe you can help your health, but you can have your finances helped as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Lisa.
If I can unmute, that would be
Oh,
great.
I couldn't hear you, Lisa. Lisa, there you are. I saw your
Perfect.
lips moving, but
Oh my gosh. You've just inspired me because we can all do so much more. Um, and the financial crisis, basically, let's say it as it is no joke right now. It is affecting people. People are suffering very silently about it a lot of the time. They're not advertising, they're not posting on Facebook. Everybody is talking about the cost of living, how everything is so expensive, insurance is going up, the cost of food, every single thing that we need to survive is going more and more and more and more expensive, but people's incomes are not going up. So, yeah, we're definitely going to dive into that. But a couple of things I want to say is I bet you're not eating as many Oreos now that you're taking the mind body system, because I can't even touch one of those, Dr. Jeff, because I just don't want anything sweet at all. And they just taste like so super sweet to me now.
no, I get it. It's so amazing that how much it controls cravings. And I do whole talks on the mind body system and on GLP-1. But at the end of the original study of 60 people, they had to fill out a survey, and one of the questions was, "Have your cravings went away?" And 95% said their cravings went away. And I think that's one of the keys to why it's so successful in weight loss is if you don't crave all these sweets and you can get off the ultra high processed foods, you can lose weight.
Yeah, I would say that's one of the biggest things it's done for me is help re-educate my eating habits, like completely. Um, the other thing I wanted to ask you is, as a physician, especially somebody who works in regenerative health, when you first watched that ABC Primetime Investigative Report, what was your reaction to that? Because I know,
Well, I mean,
frankly, I was a pharma rep. I'd worked in anti-aging for many years. I was like a little, whoa, hold on a minute.
yeah, I mean, the thing that I think I'm surprised by even more than that is the fact that, you know, Protandem's been out for 20 years and Big Pharma hasn't jumped onto it yet. I think they're working on it. We have a couple big companies in the United States. One is funded actually by Jeff Bezos. The other one is funded by Larry Page that owns Google, that are looking at nutrigenomic products, looking at activators, but they're both working with Big Pharma. So I think at some point Big Pharma is going to jump into this arena, but they're probably 20 years off from having a product that's going to even be close to what we have with Protandim. But when I first saw this, when I first saw that, and I saw it 20 years after it was originally released, it was like, why didn't I see this earlier? Why didn't I sit in, my medical school in a big auditorium with 200 other medical students? I went to a big medical school. We had 200 people in our class. Why didn't they show us this video? Why didn't they show us that, hey, there's other things other than big pharma? And the problem is it's not part of medical school curriculum. We don't learn about root cause. Root cause, we just learn about disease, and nobody looks into, well, why are the diseases happening? I mean, there's some, but most doctors don't. And
Yeah.
that's why they don't understand this. You have to have a doctor that has an open mind, that's willing to sit down, and then willing to take chances with the medical board, with the insurance companies to say, hey, enough is enough. I'm not just going to prescribe big pharma stuff. I'm going to try to make my patients healthy.
Oh,
And sad as it is, most of the doctors that do that say, I'm out of insurance. I'm not doing any of the insurance stuff anymore. I'm only doing cash service. And I'm not sure, I think in the UK, unless it's changed, you can't do that. You have to be part of the public health system. And if you're not, then you can't practice medicine. In the US, you can. You can just say, I'm done. I'm tired of dealing with big pharma. I'm tired of dealing with insurance companies. I'm going all cash. If somebody wants to see me, they're going to pay me for that. And I did that in 2009. Um, but I think
there is.
the rest of the world, we can't do that.
There is, but it's very, very, very tiny, like private, very expensive, only doctors. The rest have to follow, they work for the government, so they have to follow the government's guidelines on exactly what you can prescribe. That's changing and getting more and more regimental all the time. The physicians don't have the opportunity to choose which stint they use. They got to go with what the formulary suggests is the best affordable option now.
Right.
And it's like, it's,
And that's the key word. Affordable is the key word because you might not get the best. You're going to get the most affordable for your insurance company.
yeah.
My
So,
wife ran into that yesterday because I mean, we still have health insurance. So she went to her doctor and everything looks great, and she's been activated over a year now, and things are starting to look good, but we were changing doctors, and she needed her thyroid hormone, and she's on a natural thyroid hormone, and the doctor said, well, I don't usually prescribe that. I would rather put you on Synthroid, the big pharma one. And she said, no, I won't take it. And she said, and my husband will flip out if you give me that prescription. So yeah,
good
let's
for her.
just. And they said, well, your insurance won't cover it. Well, yeah, we know that. We're completely okay with that. But that's where healthcare is going.
I know it's crazy. And I looked at that screenshot of the PubMed. When I joined LifeVantage 10 years ago, there was only 180,000 studies on there.
So
180,000.
200,000 studies later.
Yeah, crazy. And yeah, we use this in humans, we use it in animals. My horse fell on the road the other day, and the first two things I pulled for was a bottle of iodine and a bottle of Protandim, and she has 4 a day
Yeah.
to help her heal with that. So okay, let's bring this call home. Thank you so much, Dr. Jeff, for really
You're
going
very welcome.
through